What's going on, YouTube? It's Donnie P all day. I am freezing. I just went outside. I grabbed this, the Cold Steel Trailmaster, my nice patinaed one. I ran outside across the yard because it was so cold, and of course I'm wearing shorts. And I literally set the phone down, turned, and threw this thing. I haven't thrown this in a very long time, probably since the last time I did any kind of review or verses on it. I'm not even sure. It's been a long time. Just went, put the phone, literally, no pausing, no stopping, put the phone down, turned, shot. First try, did a short. Speaking of shorts, real quick, this has nothing to do with shorts really, but I started doing playlists to make things easier to find. So I'm gonna do a playlist for folders. I'm gonna do one for fixed blades. I'll do one just for dbad stuff, like Rambo Army type things. I'm gonna do a bunch of different playlists to make life simpler for people, because I keep getting like, hey, have you done this, or did you do this, or didn't you do this, and I can't find it. And that's because there's so many videos, it's hard to go through. So I figured by doing playlists, it'll make it simpler. I already started, I think I have like 5 or 6 playlists up, and I will keep adding to them to make life good. So here is the deal, my friends. I just did a video the other day on my top 5 favorite knife designers. And I have my favorite knife designer of all time, obviously, Jimmy Lyle, and all because of the Rambo series stuff he did. Just pushed it over the top for me. But I have, obviously, the Rambo remakes, like the fake United Cutlery type stuff. I have those, and it's made by United Cutlery, but it's still the Jimmy Lyle design, right? It's a replica, right? So it's made to be the same size and all that jazz. Nowhere near the original, but it's made to be the same size. So it's a mimicked piece from Jimmy Lyle. So I have a Jimmy Lyle design, not a Jimmy Lyle knife, but I do have a Jimmy Lyle design, or a couple of them. And I have one of my other favorite knife designers is Ryan over at RMJ. I have a RMJ Kanji T-Hawk. It is made by CRKT. It's not made by Ryan, but it's one of his designs that, and this isn't like a copy. He just happens to design for this company, right? They buy his design. So I do have one of his, kinda. I might have to just pick up one of his from his actual shop, like his actual doing. But then there was, there's 3 more. There's Brad Larkin from Bradford Knives. There's Brian Beegler from Bladeworks Balisongs, and Andre de Villers from ADV Tactical. Now, I don't have any of their stuff. And I mentioned while I was talking about Bradford Knives, I said, you know what, I've been waiting to pull the trigger on one for quite some time because I love his freaking knives. And I said probably shooting this video is going to make me end up buying one. So as soon as I was done pretty much shooting, I went and ordered a Guardian 4. So that is coming in. I will have an actual Brad Larkin Bradford Knives knife coming in. So then I've been in contact with Andre de Villers. His stuff is pretty hard to get because it sells out really quick. If you went to Blade HQ and looked up by, you can look up knives by designer. It's Andrew de Villers ADV Tactical. So it's in the A's, right? You'll just look up his name, Andrew de Villers, and then you can look at some crazy nice stuff. But he's got this one design, and it's called a box butcher. And it makes you think it's just for opening boxes, but it definitely has a lot more things. And the reason I wanted this knife is because it's pretty much everything I don't really like in a knife, but done right. And it's like I just did that, the Little Chunk, I think it was called, right? Little Chunk from Rosecraft Blades. It's somebody takes a straight line, they drew a straight line, and then connected it with a rainbow and called it a knife design. And I looked at that and I was like, there's no way I'm going to like this. I think it's awful. The knife was great. It was really great. I love the knife. And it just goes to show that sometimes, if done right, something that's either a bad design or has bad things to it could still end up good. Another Rosecraft knife that comes to mind that I just did that has something to do with this would be the, oh God, I don't want to say the name, the Pocket Monster. Blade this big, Pocket Monster. But it's the fact that it was made with a handle far too small to use for a big person, but it was designed right, where she added, Swags added a big fat choil in the front to make it fit a hand. And so it's like you take something wrong and you do it right enough, it makes it right. The problem with the big choil is you take away a whole lot of cutting edge. So there's the knife called the Box Butcher by Andrew DeVillis, and it's like a sheep's foot, right? Which I'm not. I don't hate like sheep's foot and Warncliffes. I'm not the biggest fan of them. I don't hate them, but if they're done right, they're done right, and I always give them that respect. And it's one of those, and one of the things I'm not a fan of, and especially, well, it's really on straight blades, not curved blades, because this one has a nice curve to it. But when they take a fuller and you let the fuller run right off the end of the knife, it looks like the knife was broken and it had a fuller that stopped at some point, but now it's broken, so the fuller's just open. He has one of those, but it looks good. There's a ways to do it. I have another knife coming in, an Artisan, one of those knives that I absolutely hate. I hate it. It's coming in. It's 3 linear lines with a broken fuller. Stupid knife. It looks like somebody broke a knife and then they said, "Here you go, to turn it into a folder." So I have one of those coming in, and I don't doubt that it's going to work good because it's an Artisan knives piece. They make good knives, but it's just so ugly. So there's certain things. So that open-ended fuller, the fact that, okay, it's a sheep's foot, so it's not my favorite, but I don't hate sheep's foot because I have some nice sheep's foot, some classics that I really love, some really nice ones. So that's not really a sell-off. But then it has like your forward ramp going and then the canted blade. And normally I don't like that kind of stuff. But when it's designed right and done right, it makes me say, that looks like it's really going to work. And what happens is, and the number one reason I wanted this knife is because the handle's like this big. It's nowhere near any kind of handle I would ever buy. But Andrew DeVillis is like, he's like a genius, right? And with me, 2X hands, anything with a small handle, just no good. But the way he designed this knife, and if I can get it in, and I'm trying, if I can get one in, I'll show you. He did it with a finger ring, right? Which means you're pulling the handle into you when you grab the knife. Instantly, that's something that's going to make up for some of the shortness. Not only that, but when you grab a knife, let's see, and I have a Rosecraft blades on me. When you grab a knife, you generally think you grab it like this. So if you're grabbing something with a finger ring, your hand is automatically going forward. So now with the upped ramp on his knife and the canted blade, what it does is it makes you do this, right? So now you're taking this little tiny handle and you're pulling it into your hand. And the way it's designed, from what I can see, and let me see, I'll show you, man. It makes me want one so bad because I love proving myself wrong. I don't mind it at all. I love doing that with that Rosecraft little chonk. I went into that knife thinking I was going to hate it. Turned out to be a great knife. It is what it is. It's just one of those things. Let's see if I can find this knife that I'm looking for. He's got so many great pieces. And they sell out so fast. So now he sells these things with S35 VN and he sells them with D2. And I asked him about a D2 one because I really wanted a D2 one. And I will show you exactly what it looks like. All right, hold on a second. Here we go. Hold on a second. All right, so this is the knife, right? And there's other pictures. Boop, if I can get there. right here. So you can see that they come in different kinds of handles, and I really want the tan one, and I'll show you what that looks like if I can find my mouse. So there's the green one. Now you can see how it's goes up and then cants down. So it's actually the whole knife bends without making it an L-shaped knife, which I really hate. So this one bends forward, giving it a feel where you need to pull the knife into you. With this jimping right here, I'm pointing at my phone instead of on the thing, it makes you with the finger pull up, but look at how much usable edge you have. This doesn't take away from that. Normally when people do a choil, it cuts into there. So the way he did it, there's your second finger, first finger, that is a finger and a half when you pull back. That thing right there makes me say, I bet I can use this knife. And it was kind of more of a challenge than anything. This is the one I want right here. More, you see how it's canted forward? So this ramp goes up, and instead of continuing from the ramp or coming down and then swooping to the same angle, which is where you see a lot of knives go, they'll come up, down, but then that down will go back up. This one goes all the way down. So that line right there is completely different than other lines you see. And this thing right here, man, I'm telling you, it makes me think to myself that, like, because I what I'll do is a lot of times I'll just draw out the spec on a piece of paper, cut out the piece of paper and put it in my hand, and then just try to imagine the girth. This knife, I know, will absolutely work in the hand. I'm really, really hoping that he has one because I want it so, so bad. These things are pretty badass too, as daggers. But finding one in stock somewhere is like, look at that thing. It's a ring dagger. So this guy puts out some crazy, crazy cool stuff. But yeah, so that's what I'm hoping for. I've been talking with him. The problem is our time zones are completely different. Hold on a second. So our time zones are so different that when I write him, he writes me back at some point during the night, and I'm not even sure what time his things get to me. Okay, so his came in at 2 a.m. this morning, which is crazy because I left this room probably at around 1:30. So I was so close to having a live chat. But if that goes through, then I won't just have a Bradford knives, but I'll also have ADV Tactical, something from him that would be freaking ridiculously awesome. Especially his knives are a little bit of money because they're worth it. And this one is the most affordable piece he has. And for me, it's the most challenging because of hand size. It would be the most challenging, but I don't know, just as a designer, I look at that and he's got so many aspects that make me think it's going to change the way you hold the knife to a way where it's going to work. It's just going to. So I'm pretty stoked to hear from him next. But that's some stuff that's coming in. The Artisan Cutlery one, I think Scab did one, as a matter of fact, at Choir Boys Outdoors. It's just 3 lines. That's it. The ugliest. It's not a knife design. It's not a design. It's just 3 lines with a broken edge and a fuller that runs on forever. Ugly, but it looks like it's big and beefy and pretty nasty. So it's going to be one of those knives that I hate to like. And I guarantee that's what's going to happen. I'm going to look at it and go, I'm going to use it and go, ooh. And that's pretty much how that's going to go. Also, my commando knife from the Kukri House is pretty much done. I did a preview video on that showing them holding it, so that should be on the way really soon. And then I was just talking with Croco knives over my military combat knife. That one, he was asking me about sheath color and this and that, so that one's pretty much there too. So we got some really cool stuff coming in. I should be getting a bunch of dispatch stuff and another one from another company where another pretty sweet fixed blade that's coming in. So there's a whole lot to work with here. We have some videos coming. Also, I still need to do the verses on the Wild West buoy and the Trailmaster, and that's why both of those are out. So that's it for this one. Just a little heads up, a little bit of fingers crossed, and I gotta go bowling. So that's it. I am Donnie B all day. Until next video.